This is a treat. It's a very special one. And for people that know me, I'm quite an emotional guy. So I might get quite emotional with this one because I'm very proud of this guy. But let's get straight into it. Jordan Grant made a promise to his gran that he'd build one of Scotland's biggest landscaping businesses. She told him to get a real trade. He was 15 years old, cutting grass for £5, raised in a council flat by his nan and his mum, who suffered from severe mental health issues. No father, no safety net, just a burning desire to prove her wrong and prove her right. He channeled his anger into the ring, kickboxing, boxing matches at the Crown Plaza, learning to fight from ex-Royal Marines. By 21, he was one of Scotland's youngest and most experienced tree surgeons. By 27, he'd built £1 million business and Scotland's best landscaping company. Living the dream, right? But here's what no one talks about. A week before COVID, literally a week after winning a fight at the Crown Plaza, his business partner, his best friend, betrayed him and disappeared. Stole money, left him holding the bag. Then COVID shut down the world. Jordan had £20 in his account and a $7,500 weekly wage bill. Borrowed the last 20 from a mate to make the payroll. Then his gran, his wee nanny, his whole world, the woman he'd built everything for, died in October 2020. Now, most people would have collapsed. Jordan, however, did something different. He called me. Through Big Fergie, God bless him. Yes. And what we discovered in that work together was that the wound that drove his success was also the thing preventing him from actually experiencing it. The fatherless boy building an empire to prove his worth now had to become a man who could receive love, build conscious partnership, and prepare to be the father he never had. Today, Jordan's not just running a thriving business, he's just become a dad himself. And the journey from wounded fighter to conscious father, that's what we're diving in today. Jordan, my brother, welcome to the Trysted Soul Experience.
Marky boy, thank you very much for having me.
I said I would do this beforehand. I'm quite teary, man.
I was going to say, don't start already.
Oh, mate. And for people that don't know, because a lot of the audience is in Bali in Australia, and a lot of the guys actually going to meet you. It was really surreal,
right.
Do you know what I mean? I remember just sitting going, came a long way, mate.
That's honestly a full circle. I need to remember and talk a bit slower today because of some of the Australian, the Bali, the international. But there was, and to go the full circle and go over to Bali and experience it as well. It really was a full circle moment.
I think I did this in day one as well. In the Hula Cafe. I'm so proud of you.
And it's interesting because a lot of the stuff, because you were kind of transitioning to our business stuff as well. Mm-hmm. And you were like, you gave me stuff to like systemize the business, to put that to one side. And it's almost like that leverage, then almost compounded to then I'm like sitting in Bali going, that was quite good back then.
This time next year, brothers, we'll be millionaires. No, it was cool because remember that was what you came to me for. You're like, listen, I'm a bit stressed. There's a lot going on just now. Big Fergie talks highly of you. And just looking to see if we can have a conversation. I was like, right, cool, tell me a wee bit more of what's going on. And the business stuff, and I was like, right, we can fix that easy. What's going on in the personal? And you're very transparent, mate, to be honest with you. A lot of people are not, especially in Scotland.
Yeah.
And it makes life a hell of a lot easier. You know yourself, like if a client's saying, hey, can you do work for me? And you go, yeah. But that's as far as it goes. Well, you're kind of limited in how you can help them. So, no, God bless you, mate. Your transparency and just, you've come through a lot, mate. You should be really proud.
Honestly, no, I really appreciate it. Like, and the kind of, I think as well, one of the things glossing over, we actually use a lot of the phrases that we have spoke about there. The sleeving, for example, one of the first things is, you're like, because I'm like, oh, I've got this business problem, and it is actually one of our biggest things. It's like, we always say, it's not, I say to other business owners, you said to me, and it's been quoted a million times, it's not business problems I've got, it's personal problems.
Show up in the business.
That show up in the business. However, because what you want first, your need is for the business stuff, I'm going to help you with that. But you did say resentful, not like resentful, but I want to help you in a personal sense.
Yeah. No, it's true, but you know yourself, mate, like, is somebody that's a visionary, it's a gift and a curse. Because you can see things that other people can't, right? But in my work especially, right, like, if I had said to you, because you never knew me, right? No. You trusted Fergie, so you trusted me by proxy. So I know that for the first 3-4 weeks of working with someone, it's a job interview for me every day. Because they need to know, does this guy genuinely walk his talk, and does he know what I want, and does he genuinely give a shit about me? So when you're working with people's inner child, if I say to you, right, cool, mate, but we're going to do this. Something deep in the psyche goes, this guy's not listening to me, I'm not worthy of being heard. But we don't think that that's what's happening. We just go, guy's a dick.
That's it.
I'm not working with him, XYZ. I'm
Yep.
going to go that way. So you know yourself with business, mate, like scratch the itch, give them what they want and then educate them on what they need. But
100%.
unless you've got someone that's actually ready, willing and open, you're limited, mate. So you were an open book for the word go, man.
No, honestly, but again, slight things that you did say to it. Now, to give everyone context for Fergie, Fergie's been around the block and I've been pals with him for 10, 12 years. And there's a lot of people in Scotland that I know of that breaks into your space. But he knew everything that was going on. He knew the person I was. And he really trusted you.
Yep.
Pardon the pun, trust your soul, you know. But so you practice what you preach, but you instantly gain trust. I mean, a boy that's obviously been through social services, anybody that says anything to me for the nicest sense, I really don't believe them.
Yep.
Because not a lot of people in my life, like, they say stuff and never see it through.
Yep.
You know, so straight away I think that the norm is your back was against the wall, but I think even with this one I'm like, right, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
You know, but Fergie did again, he's like, everybody around the world, he's like, you have walked the walk and talked the
No,
talk.
I remember sending him a message and I said, what a gem that boy
Thank
is. I said, he's been through a hell of a lot, Fergie. Thanks for trusting me. And he went, to be honest, mate, you're the only one I trust.
That's it.
And it's not as if me and Fergie are like really close. I know Fergie for a young boy training at Harvey's gym. He was a PT, he was always in good nick.
Yeah.
Liked his tunes every now and again. I came in when I was
Yes,
DJing
brilliant.
locally. Always smiling, never
That's
a
it.
bad word. Anytime he can be like, he's out in nature, he's climbing something and he's running, he's keeping
That's it.
himself fit. So he was in the local scene to a degree that
That's it.
served him for connection, but
Yeah.
his big connection's nature, so he couldn't wait to get out. So Fergie did a bit about him, and I think he realised that a lot of the bullshit that we grew up in is exactly that. So he
100%.
removed himself, and I think there was a respect with it, really knowing that, going, the fact that he's went the other side of the world
That's it.
to try and just live his truth, because here people just don't
It is.
accept it.
They don't, especially in West of Scotland at all.
It's getting there.
As we're 100%, we're talking about it and we're more talking about it, and I think that was a beautiful thing for me, being younger than Fergie and always working around with him. He always had that energy, and he was always very conscious about being better of oneself,
Yeah.
but also conscious about everything around him. And I think as well, that's obviously, it's rubbed off definitely whatever time you have spent together.
Yep.
And then when we started having that conversation, you know, and it's that 1 degree of change back then that, and I actually remember you send a form out to it, and I would love to try and find it out there, but I'm pretty sure like it was something like who do you want to become, or what value, or like kind of what value can I bring? And I'm like, I want to be the 1 in a million.
I
You know,
remember it. That's
literally.
exactly what you said.
Yeah,
It was
literally.
before I made up your Freedom film.
That's it. Still to this day, and that is a tangent still on that.
Yeah,
That is
we'll
one of
get
the
into it.
amazing things.
So what I love about this, mate, it's not an interview, right? It's an experience, and as I said, excuse me, it's really, really brilliant for me to be the observer, just watching things pop up in your socials.
Yeah.
People want to interview you, people want to speak to you, the articles and things have been wrote about you, but I want to go down a different route today. So it's a nice wee organic start there, because we need to get to know you, but for the people that don't know, Jordan, he's the founder of Glasgow Garden Maintenance, which is way more than the name suggests. I remember the
That's it.
great pride you were telling me about.
Yes.
It's like we do 3 things that no
all
other
in one.
company does, and I don't want to butcher that. So it's landscape gardening, tree surgery, and like everyday kind of
A
maintenance.
statement, we look after like 20,000 homes for the council.
Wow.
You know,
Amazing.
so everything outside.
Wow, right, thank God you're here, because I said talking tree surgery, luxury landscape, estate management for 600, so you're 20,000.
But that probably was right at that time. To be fair, the rate of growth has been crazy. So
So for anyone else that's like to get Jordan on the podcast, I keep looking over there for the camera.
moving on about it.
For anyone that wants to book Geordie, make sure you're up to speed because his growth is, I mean, that's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
More than 20,000.
So at that time would have been just over like 600 homes,
Yeah.
but now one of the contracts is over 20,000 homes that we can
amazing,
look
man.
after in one time. Crazy.
Amazing. 9 vans in the road. You get more than 9
We're
now?
now 18 vans.
Ooh-wee. Awards from Scottish Enterprise,
Yep.
the kind of success story that gets written up in papers.
Yep.
But as I said, I don't want to just talk about the business
Yes.
success. It's the internal transformation, mate, that it just, you're literally my walking avatar, right?
Love
Heal
that.
the soul wounds,
Thank you.
live your soul purpose,
Yep.
call in your soulmate.
Yep.
It's exactly what
Literally,
happened.
that's it.
It's exactly what happened.
You'll end up getting me greeting now.
No, mate, you
Honestly.
should be proud.
Thank you.
Because we first started working together, like you were building fast, but there was no systems to hold you. Like your
Nothing.
growth was like that.
There was a young guy with a need to escape
Right.
the life that he had in a very kind of simplistic form, you know, and it was just, let's just earn money and go, and there was nothing like that.
Right. So I want to go back the way we did
Yep.
when we started working together. Right. We steadied the ship very quickly.
Yes,
Remember saying to you, mate, you're going to need to put that through the business.
that's it.
We're going to
Totally in
need
there.
to get you legal.
That's it, literally.
Because you're going to scale. You're one of these people that I don't worry
That's it.
is going to fulfill the things that he's saying.
That's it.
I said, but this is a built in a deck of cards, Geordie.
100%.
I said, so I don't know how you're doing it. I said, but you live in a penthouse life
That's it.
when we don't even have the foundations put in place.
100%.
I said, we need to get that done quick. But again, you were open. So I want to go back to when early teens, even 12, 13, 14. What was life like for you back then, mate?
Do you know, one of the biggest things that I kind of struggle with is that a lot of the stuff that happened in my early childhood, and that I don't remember too much of it. I think I self-destructed in my head because of what went kind of on there. But to give a kind of, to understand what was going on at that time, but my mum's bipolar schizophrenic, tried to kill herself loads of times through my whole kind of childhood. But in that transition between 13 and 14, I was kind of more conscious about everybody else's life.
Yep.
The normal school, like people with normal family, kind of, or what was supposedly seen as a normal family life, brothers, sisters, the father figure as well, you know. And I had nothing. I had absolutely, if you could break it down to what normal 13 or 14-year-olds had, at this kind of time where the pioneering moment became, my mum tried to kill herself, and at that point we started high school. I realised that we never had enough money. I felt like a Jake, you know, at the time, and my mum tried to kill herself, and I realised if my mum does kill herself, my nanny doesn't have long left. Not only just a Jake now, my nanny would kill me for saying that, but that was how I felt.
Yeah.
You know, and I would have nothing. And at the time, I had frustration from my mum. Never knew my father. My mum also like hated me because I think she hated herself. And there's a lot of deep stuff inside where like living with somebody with mental health is torture. You know, it's every day abuse, verbal abuse, not sleeping at night time with the schizophrenic side is just like living with a monster is all I can explain. Meanwhile, every day I was trying to show up at school and put a smile on my face with having the troubles in my back of what happened at the house, but also where am I moving forward? You know, what does my life bring? Because I always had this burning desire that I could have been somebody.
Yep.
You know, and I still had that like, oh my God, this was my life. Doesn't look too pretty moving forward, but I still had a wee bit of self-belief. We had massive self-belief, if I'm being totally honest. But I was very distorted, and we spoke about having trust when we first started working. I got banned from all Scottish football. I attacked somebody on the pitch. My mum was well. I think she was out of the house for about a year at this point. She loved drinking drugs. She was nowhere to be seen. I've attacked someone on the pitch, and I got banned for all Scottish football in the school. The head teacher at the time, the PE teacher at the time. Funny, that's how much. Obviously, that was your
XP.
the Mr. Chaplin, and he sat me down, and he's like, "I don't know what happened yesterday. But
What age was he?
yes, he must be about.
Was he younger?
No, he was old. He was just getting into it at the time.
Yeah, okay.
So I think he was. I'm trying to think. He must be about 36 or 42.
Now?
And now I would say
Is his first name Keith?
yes. No way. Aye.
Die Hard Rangers fan?
Aye.
But Keith,
No way.
he's younger than me, obviously.
Plays
But
football?
he was 2 years above me
No way.
at uni. Big Keith is a diamond, mate.
And they're talking about kind of the slight changes by 1% that compound. And at that time, when all that kind of, in the shortest senses, go on, he's then, so he took a football team and then went up, kicked off, after then went for Sunday, and the next morning, but he just got into the kind of, being a teacher. He took a team and he pulled me in. He's like, listen, we had a good relationship. He's like, I don't know what went on last night, but I need to go and speak to the head teacher and whatnot. So let me know what's going on. I was like, Chaplain, honestly, I don't have a clue. I seen red, I exploded, and I was like, I was like, I don't know where it came from. My mum's been gone for a year, and then I think everything then came out there. Then he ended up saying to me, right, well, first of all, you're the worst footballer I've ever seen. You're never going to make it as a footballer. But if you think you're a hard man, I'm going to get you to join a fighting gym. And I was like, right, okay. And sure enough, I was like, because he's like, you think you're hard, but you have to go somewhere that actually does just deal with fighting.
No, it's a Big Keithy was your avenue in.
He literally, the pioneer moment.
Uncanny, man.
Honestly, that's amazing.
I love that.
And he ended up, and then at the school, so he obviously told whatever it was, but then he was going into classes. He got me a bit of counselling at the time there, but and again, that's how the trust thing, that he would take me out to classes and say he was going for like football training. I was going to go and get counselling to try and help me with anger and whatnot. I mean, that woman was terrible, but what he done for me was special.
Yeah.
You know, but he then ended up, he's like, right, I think you're a hard man. It was quite a competition. I mean, suppose father figure, definitely. I then joined Punisher Kickboxing Academy. And I think 3 months later, I won all my fights and became 2-time Scottish champion kickboxer. And I remember saying to him, fucking told you, I'm a nut job. And he's like, away you go. You're only fighting junior.
Aye.
You need to keep on building up.
So he had you, but he kept you hungry. That's good, though. It's a good teacher.
He was a kind of pioneer at that point there, but that's amazing. You talk about how everything's connected.
I need to message him after this, man.
Honestly.
A whole lot of love for him even more now.
Unbelievable.
He's a good boy, man.
Do you know the funniest thing is with him as well? So it's funny, but so my wee cousin Kaylee he's a head teacher or something at one of the schools in East Kilbride, I think it is now.
Keith?
Aye, so so my wee cousin lost her father, troubled times, and ended up, he kind of, without knowing the two of us were connected, again, he done exactly the same. Yeah. And it was one day like this, she's like, Mr. Chaplain. I says, Mr. Chaplain? So I honestly think he's one of the diamonds of the world.
To be honest with you, mate, like, I don't know if you remember when we first started speaking and through certain things, and you were telling me your story, and I said, every human being in the world's got a hierarchy of values.
Yep.
I said, people hear values and they think morals and ethics or feelings and emotions or character traits. I'm talking purely about the things that unapologetically make you you.
That's it, yeah.
And your highest value usually comes from your lowest void. Meaning the thing that you grew up not having, you're spontaneously inspired to go and get as an adult. So for a lot of us teachers, we've got a perceived high value in intellect because a lot of us grew up believing we were stupid.
That's it, yeah.
So I don't know what's happened to Keith.
Yep.
But how he is as a teacher is probably the teacher that you wish he had, or 9 times out of 10 was probably his PE teacher that had his back, and he probably saw a lot of himself in you. Now, I'm being assumptive here.
No, it's honestly.
But because Keith had the red mist.
Oh, well, that's it.
But the same token, you can tell he's just a real one. He's just a good guy. Fuck around and find out if they say.
But that was it.
Other than that, he's laughing and he's joking. So he's probably saw, Jordan's not bad.
But that was it.
But he's got no support.
That was it. And he then ended up kind of, without telling the world there, he then started supporting me. And again, that pioneer moment was then off there. You know, it's funny, just to go off on a tangent, when you say that, it's the thing you value most
comes from the biggest void.
And again, when we first met, I had a Porsche Macan GT3.
Yeah.
And then when we were sitting down working through the stuff, and at the time, that you're like, you don't really, I mean, I love cars. You didn't need car. Actually, when you walk it back, was my nanny used to pull up at school with the shittest car in the school, and I used to feel so embarrassed. I just wanted to prove it to her. And I remember when you says to me, your nanny doesn't care what car you drive, she loved you regardless. And it sounds so silly, but I was like, oh my gosh. I was up with boys the other week, and he says, mate, the last time we met you, you sold your Porsche and bought diggers. Because I bought stuff that makes me money.
I remember.
And then it's like I got rid of the Porsche.
You want to buy a Rolex?
What was that? Literally, it was.
Not yet.
You start to wind it back and go, it's like your nanny loved you regardless, you know, and that is that highest value. That's exactly.
But again,
brilliant.
It's nice. We spoke about this off air before we came in. It's nice to like reward yourself for your hard work. And I said, right now, we just need to steady the ship. I says, when this ship is steady, then it turns into a cruise liner, then buy yourself a Rolex. I says, right now, let's just do this just now. So, to tie it all back in, there was a lot going on in the world. And what I love about you is that you never let it define you, mate. You were never bitter. And, well, I mean, we're going to go through this the whole way. I remember looking through some of the kind of family history and speaking to you about it, and I went, do you have any inkling about your dad? And you went, no. But I went looking for him once who I thought it would be. Don't need to go into that. I remember you telling me, and I just saw you, and I said to you, I says, you know, one day, mate, I says, you're going to be the dad you wish you had. I don't know if you remember me saying that.
That's it, literally.
I says, and you'll be grateful genuinely for everything that he's not. And he might come through the woodwork when you're successful and you hit the heights, and you have a decision to make whether you let him in or not. I went, but you won't need him.
No.
I said, and it's not that you never had, because that can be a kind of bypassing statement. A lot of people say, I never knew him. My own mother. So you can't miss something you never had, Matt. I mean, all of us need that guidance. So when you're going through school and you've got people like Keithy, and then you're going through and you've got Big Fergie, and you've got your good circle of mates that have always been cheering you. Hopefully I come on and amplify that at some point. Again, it can only penetrate to the level that you're open, mate. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, knowing your story when we first got together. I went, this hasn't like diluted your worldview. If anything, it just kind of lit a fire for you to step up. Would that be fair to say?
100%. And I think it's at such an interesting point, because in that, let's call it the bowl that I was living in, all I could think is this can't be real life. There's more to life. And I suppose maybe call it abundance mindset at a very young age when the house was on fire. And it's always one of the things I'm like, and even it happens to business. And I said, I don't know if it's maybe an entrepreneur trait, to be fair now, that you think this can't be my only existence. There's always something better than this. One of my favourite quotes for Tony Robbins is that this is good, but the next thing has to be better. And it's like, I suppose always, like, and at that time, it was always, I was like, this can't be, this is, mum would be up all night, screaming at us, being so abusive or not being there, you know. And I remember at that time, with my dad, when I kind of, or supposedly who was my dad, and did not, openly just met me and just says, I don't even care if you are my son, I don't want anything to do with you. And at that, there's an emotional tie to that, you know, but the point of the drive after that to go, I'm going to go and be successful. To be is this the right wording for, I might have butchered this, but to be the father that I always needed. Maybe to be out there slightly butchered it.
No, it's not at all. I said that to you. I mean, listen, it's going to be quite conceptualised when you hear the word inner child.
That's it.
I says, but how you're showing up for the wee girls that fancy us, it's pre-Ellis, obviously. I'm business, the hangers on, the people that are like feeding you what you want to hear. I mean, there's an ego check
100%.
part that needs to come up to this, mate. I said, but all of us, how we show up is from that wounded inner child. I said, that you don't need to believe that in just now. I said, as we go through it, we'll prove it. And it's not that you're immature. I said, all of us had needs for childhood that we never got met. And I remember you going, where do you want to begin? So with that void of what you weren't getting from the parental point of view of a mum with the mental health issues and then the absentee father. How did your nanny fill that void?
Do you know?
I remember the first thing you said to me was, she's my whole world.
I know, that's it. You know, there's like she was my everything there in the sense. And again, it's sadly because it's a bit distorted now when I know, because everything there just, when I think back, but the biggest thing is she was everything she could be to try and fill every void, you know. And the biggest thing is she woke up every day with a smile on her face, fed me every day, which is such a silly thing, but your mum can't cook, you know. It's and you'd be going with it. You know, my nanny was just everything. You know, she couldn't provide financially as much as anything that I would probably need, but she just turned up. And you know, it's interesting, obviously, with the wee and now, she was used. I think you was again you're quoting here, but she was present. That was probably one of the key factors. She was present, you know, the whole time. She wasn't conscious all the time, but she was always present.
She was there regardless.
Yeah. I think taking a tea there, you know, and that was always inconsistent. Yeah. You know, she was always, and she was just there for me. It was interesting that there's loads of stuff, obviously now, when now knowing what I know as being a parent, and I never fully understood the story, but just for everybody to understand that my mum is around about 50, so for like mental health and how they kind of addressed it back then, nobody spoke about it, how my nanny addressed it. I mean, I never really knew my mum had schizophrenic, or she was schizophrenic, till after my nanny passed away, and I'm picking up the paperwork. But I was just told, yeah, your mum's fine. But on one occasion, this is just off on a tangent to say how, like, what she done for me, unapologetically. My nanny, so I was at court, and they do a background check for everything that's obviously happened, like kind of character, who I am and whatnot. And I was asked the question, have you been in social services? And I says no, because my nanny was passed away at this point. My nanny always looked after me. And to which we're in the courtroom, and the woman who does the kind of the background report, she says Jordan was asked this question, but actually the history and the background checks that Jordan was in the social services for the first month when he was first born.
Okay. My
nanny never even let a light at that. And the stories are a bit distorted with mum, but the long and short of it is mum kind of wasn't there at all, and my nanny just took me in, and she was present, you know. She was just present, always loved me, and she was consistent, and she never ever wanted anything back in return.
Was that the driver for you that wanted to build this empire for her?
That's it. Yeah. That was the driver. I thought, you just do everything for everybody, especially me, and you don't want anything back, you know. The only thing she really cared about was just you want to cheeky her and, don't get wrong, washing or clean the room, but that never really happened, to be fair. But she never wanted anything back. But that wee moment in time that you could snip it, everything she done, I thought, you deserve a good life. And then we got into the reason why. Like, she just became that whole conversation is like, no, you deserve a better life, and I know I have belief that I can give you it. You know, and it just started from there. And it's so weird to I still get this feeling to the day.
I know, mate. This is when we had just started working together. So I remember, you know, knowing that I was going to be at the funeral.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was during COVID, because I couldn't go in.
Aye.
But I stayed outside.
That's it.
Until it was finished. Because I remember thinking the first time you said it, excuse me, I was like, wow. I mean, okay, I'll revisit this just now.
Yeah.
Because one of my mentors years ago had said, tell me about mum. I said, my mum? I said, my mum's everything. And I went to just speak candidly, and he hand up and went, that's your problem. I said, excuse me? And he said, if she's everything, there's nothing available for anyone else. So if you're here and your catalyst for being here is because you've just called off an engagement with 10 weeks to the wedding, That's what really went deep in us. He said, and the pattern is that every time you get a chance to be happy on your mum, you sabotage. It's because you've got your mum up here and no other women can get in. Now, every part of my ego was fighting to tell him he was full of shit. And I was like, and he was Irish. So I said, mate, you know how this is. My mum, like, of course she's everything. He said, my mum's not my everything. I was like, don't project your stuff onto me. And it was very firm, so it was triggering the shit out of me, but it was very deliberate. He was a genius. So again, just because that happened for me, I didn't want to then project that onto you. So I was like, right, I'll just take a note of it. But you said it a few times. And I remember thinking to myself, I said, God, man, like, I hope we get a chance to heal that while she's still here.
That's it.
And in the space of a couple of months, it was no more. So before we go into that, I want to just kind of go back. So mum was physically present but emotionally absent.
Yep.
And
or sometimes physically not there.
Physically absent as well.
Yeah.
Dad was never there. Social services, you now find out you're there for the first month, which now being a dad, witnessing how important those first points of contact are.
Crazy.
To then go, no one, at some level, no one cares about me, abandoned, rejected, but then there's this rock, this consistent woman that's always there for you no matter what. Unconditional love. Can keep you right when need to be, but loves you regardless and wants nothing other than you to be the best. You then start to become aware of this. That must be a lot of pressure on your shoulders to want to build this empire and to provide her for that. So you get this kid with all of this potential, no guidance of where to put it, going to school, comparing yourself to kids in your own age group, peer group. Let's make the transition. Is this where Mr. Chaplin can I come in? Was that the bridge into like finding an outlet for it?
I think that was the kind of the bridge from it there, you know, and I suppose as well what happened, and I can now say that I'm grateful for, is I fast-tracked everything, because not only did I want to give my nanny a better life, I realised that she was old. I don't know what age she would have been then, but I was thinking she wasn't here to be around forever. So, and then I realised I had to get a vehicle to make sure money, because I believe that regardless of what we do, everybody has to feel a bit secure with the money side of it first, to go what we're doing. If I was stuck in a home, that I could still design what I wanted to do with my life. So
the financial void became a big value on it.
That was a big value. Yeah. And then so alongside with Chaplin getting into the fighting, I then started the guy upstairs, then left the army and started tree surgery.
Brilliant.
I then started, one of the neighbours asked for the grass cut, they moved in, and I was like, I'll do that. £5 later, I went, oh, that's quite good. And that was my first kind of transaction. I thought, what's that, the old one? People give time for
money.
Time for money. I was like, well, I'll just give you my time.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. I was like, that's how it kind of works in the simplest like form there. And then I was like, okay, right, I could start to try and build on this. I only had tunnel vision. Like, it was like, I need to go and give my time to get money. Give my time to get money. And then between that, but I also had to serve my emotional side, because at that time I could have, and I think I said it before, when we first, I could have punched through, I would have murdered somebody, you know, with the anger that's going on in my body, you know, and that was before I lost my nanny and business partner and all that. So I knew, and I actually, the joke, I mean, there'll be a lot in this, but the schizophrenic side of my mum, I'm like, the anger, I see that build up there. That's it. I had 27 fights unbeaten, probably. There was an equal. That's what happens. You got that much anger.
Yeah, there's a few things there. I want to just touch on what you've just said there, mate. I've actually not put it in the notes, but I remember working with you in this, saying that we get to a point, most sons, as they're grown up, that are lucky enough, or unlucky for some people, depending on what the specifics is, to have two parents there, right? For a lot of us as young boys, our dads are our heroes. And then we get to the teenage years, wee bits of testosterone start to come through the system. Go to high school, it's no longer centred around our parents anymore, it's more our peers. And then we start watching how dad moves through the world, because that's a blueprint for how we think men should be. And we go, oh, dad's not my hero, dad's a dick. I mean, the inner child, the inner teenager comes on, that's when we start to rebel a little bit.
Yeah.
But the kind of deep, this is why I call the mother wound the mother of all wounds, especially for men that want to have both love and success. I said, you need to look at the authentic love and the love that was conditional growing up, because what's more successful than love?
No, that's it.
Nothing. And you mentioned Tony Robbins, I love, like, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. To me, success with no one to share it with is the ultimate failure. Like, why are we doing this stuff? We're in it for a better life for our family.
Yeah.
So the mother wound for a lot of young men is that we unconsciously protect them more. We can be more vocal towards our dads.
Yeah.
He's an ass, whatever.
Yeah.
I was never there, fuck him, who cares?
Yeah.
You don't really take that stance, to be honest. You never really have since we've worked together. But the mum, I remember little bits were coming up, and I remember asking you this. I mean, have you ever gave yourself permission to be pissed off with her? And I mean, really pissed off. Like, if we could make her a surrogate, if I could be the surrogate for your mum, I put the bodysuit on, and we had a spar, and you just come in, and there was no, you could pretend I was her. Not that saying you're physically, I'm saying this for the listeners, because I knew you got it at the time. I went, not that you want to hurt your mum, not that you ever will, but just like getting the energy and motion, the emotion, getting it out, because it's killing you, mate. I says, have you ever actually a full body fucking, have you ever let that go? And you went, no. And I went, can you, whether we do that or we don't, I mean, can we just start with, can you give yourself grace, mate, at how hard this has been for you? And why the hell would you not be angry? And I remember you kind of went,
100%.
As if this guy's not judging me for being pissed off at my mum.
No. And you know, even, and I still remember it, you're like, you don't, again, slightly butchering it, but you don't have to love your mum the way everybody thinks you should love your mum, because they don't know what's going on behind the closed doors.
Yeah.
They don't know, because the outside world in that kind of genre of her age group is like, you have to love your mum.
I'm your mum.
That's it. I'm your mum. That was it. And you're like, no. And then the second part with that, he says, and you're never going to get a perfect relationship with your mum. And it was letting that go.
Yeah.
And that again was that gave me that, right, okay, well, I can put that to the side now.
Yeah.
You know, because it was almost, I had to love my mum fully. But then at the same time, I was also striving for the perfect relationship. And I suppose they both bounced off each other. Yeah. And you're like, that's never going to work. Do
you remember doing the conscious collapse in my wee flat?
I do. I actually, and I remember it, because my mum was always, she was still to this day, she is very full on phoning. She's got nothing else to do. And I always remember that because I felt so it's kind of trapped, because she's constantly, where are you, how are you, and whatnot. And it's like, I think a lot of that came is because she had such a terrible time. She didn't want to see me ruining my life, and it was coming probably from a place of love.
Yeah.
And that also, that tool, when that conscious collapse is I remember going, wow, seeing it from a different angle and standing here. Yeah. Wow. That was the crazy. And still to this day, and I still have conversations with people who have troubles with their parents or whatever, and I go, maybe they're coming from a place of love, but it's hard to see it when you're in the fire.
Well, that's the thing, mate. Like, we did a lot of work. What we did, I never intellectually vomited on you, and we just did things because we had a common love of football, albeit opposite sides of the Clyde. But it was always banterful, it was always respectful in the boxing and stuff as well. So we trained and we did all that. That was my way of letting you release, regulating this nervous system, and not shaming you for having these emotions. So we were working a lot in the body as well, cleaning up bits of the nutrition and stuff as well. I was like your wee cakes and a coffee. Have a cake and a coffee. I says, but the stuff that we're doing at the deeper level of the nervous system will heal your gut and all these things anyway. But you could only have that perspective shift because we had processed the emotions that were stuck down, and you had peace in your nervous system where you actually like fully accepted yourself. Because when you're being rejected for a guy that may or may not be your dad, your own mum, and then you rejecting your own reality because you wanted this perfect fantasy that can never have been. And that was the thing. I went, like, I can't bypass this boy's trauma. I says, but if we just keep following the system, this was notes to myself. I can talk to you about what the process was now. I said, he'll see it for himself. I meant, just trust the system, just keep going. So I remember seeing it. I remember you were against my radiator in the wee back room. And I remember I went, I teach this process now, right? And I tell people, don't get attached to the outcome. Just follow the steps. But I remember not being the observer. I remember being really in it, going, I fucking hope he gets this here, because I could saw you on the cusp, and then I'm going, right, breathe, go back in, because he'll feel that energy. And I just gave you space. I never really said it. And then I asked a question, and I remember you just going,
that's it.
Few tears, and then you're like, fuck. And I'm like, there we go. What you saying? Telling me. And you went, oh my God, she loves me that much.
I know. That's it. It's crazy.
And it just kind of made sense.
Everything fun, and you says it's like, just accept the finger. And it's interesting because almost part of me, because mom was like so abusive and so, I didn't want her. I probably didn't want inside myself, when you said there, accept what just comes. 100% didn't want to hear the outcome that was, she just loved me. She was struggling to whatever was going on with her. And I think as well, like having that acceptance, like you says, putting it to the one side, because inside growing up of that, my nanny always says, old school, okay, it's fine, it's just your mum. Okay, that's fine. And she never told any of my family what was going on. And it was, they never knew. But then also my mum would say that I was the problem.
I remember.
I would be the problem, and that everything, I was a spoiled brat, and everybody hated me, and she was very, now I know, and I don't know if it was yourself that pointed out, narcissistic. Like that narcissistic trait is so a part of schizophrenia.
It was one of the hats she wore as the schizophrenic.
That's it. Yeah, and it's when you start to pull that apart, just even in that box I lived, trying to just appear to the world as if everything's fine, knowing that my dad didn't want to be present, didn't love me by definition, and my mum also hated me majority of the time, and also my nanny was just trying to be there. But then all of a sudden, just flip that and say, put it to the side, and actually your mum does love you. Or it's just, it was such a weird sequence of events that.
And I just, for anyone listening, I just want to be clear, like, none of this is bypassing.
No.
But this is like months in the making to get to this point. And the realisation that Jordan had, that how much his mum loves him, and the divine order of it, was when we could own the traits and see why the thing that he wanted for her couldn't have came. And the thing that he wanted from his mum, he actually got from her mum, his nanny. And then that's when the penny dropped, and he went like, oh my God, she knew she couldn't be that. So she loved me that much that she gave me her own mother.
That's it, literally. She
wanted me to be the child that she couldn't be and have that connection, and it all kind of tied in. So none of this is one-liners, it's not psychology, it's not talk therapy, it's not going through it. It's deep. It took us a long time to get there. Because some people, especially men, they'll either recreate the wound of what happened, but you alchemised it, mate.
Well, I mean, in the shortest breath, you would have an angry post driver ready to fight the world, and everything that was infused in that, even unpackaging that. That had a lot, that, like you says, putting that to the side was literally, I think, I don't know any percentage wise, but that literally, that wee bubble, that was compounding for my whole life. You know, so that was humongous, and still to this day, you know. And that is one of the ones that is, it's just not, like I said, it's not gimmick, it was just literally just understanding that. It was really special.
Just before we go to the next topic, the fighting that you're talking about, and having that the healthy avenue through actually being in the ring, Two-part question, mate. What were you feeling in the moment in those early fights in terms of, was there a conscious, I'm releasing this and I'm pitching everybody that's fucked me over and getting it out, or was that just happening at deeper levels? And as we both know, like being in the ring, like you find out who you are very quickly.
Yeah.
What skills from the fighting have you took into business that have helped you?
So I think the first one is, and I think from family problems, anything that is an issue, I can turn anger or emotion and channel my energy.
Beautiful.
That's the first thing from there. Channeling energy into something that is of valuable, you know. And I think one of the things when you're in a fight, like you says, it's sink or swim. Yeah. You know, one or two things happen when you're in business. There's nobody coming to support you. You can't blame your coach for winning the fight.
Yep.
You know, it's only just down to you. And that's from a conscious point of view and literally a physical point of view. And I think that it is genuinely, it's just you against you. You know, to be everything that you need to be. You know, and again, that comes into business as well. It's not me against you. It's not me against the boys or the families who I thought I wanted their family life. I just had to deal with my problems.
Yep.
You know, and create the better future for me and everybody that I wanted around it. So again, that's what I love fighting and everything about it. Like you says, in a very professional form, I think it's the best thing. It's just for everything around there, you know, and I know we feel the same about it.
Yeah, I love it, man.
It is.
I think it should be in every school.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
Yeah, martial arts, it's something.
It is.
But it's definitely something I've heard you say about business. You go, I know there's always problems, mate.
That's it.
But I love that.
That's exactly. Literally.
And I think that's the difference, mate. Like, a lot of people in business can't handle when they get punched in the face, metaphorically.
Yeah.
And they look for a way out, whereas you're just going to...
How do we fix it?
But, well, here's a deeper question for you, because fighting, there's no one to blame.
Yep.
It's you versus you. You're very disciplined, you're very direct, you're very clear in the vision that you want. And even back when we first started, I mean, that was 5 years ago, mate.
Yeah.
When we first started working together, you were already thinking about an exit plan in the current form and going into different avenues and stuff. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. The you versus you in the ring, for what I can see though, you've maybe took that as in, for you in business, to how you can grow as a person.
That's it.
However, I think one of the things that makes you grow as a person is your ability to have a good team.
That's it.
And you delegate and you build systems and you give people opportunities and stuff. So obviously taking that awareness and channeling it, like you said, and starting a business, great first step. That's very different for scaling it though. So I want to get through that. Like let's go back there. Like walk me through the early days. Because obviously we're seeing a pattern and I think your resilience just comes through with everyone. But £5 grass cuts, borrowed the lawnmower. What was the vision in your head then versus the reality on the ground?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I always from a mug, I always realised that somebody made $1 million off of like something so tiny, and I just thought, why can I not? And I think low barrier to entry must have been a part of it. Now I realise this is my barrier to entry. And I need to, and I suppose it would have been definitely the ego would have been driving it as well. You know, that I thought, this is it, I want to try and be something. And when I was starting to do gardens, then I started employing somebody to walk around with a lawnmower and strimmer.
I love that.
Yeah, and if they literally chapping the doors, I had to run every 2 weeks. I would walk from Rutherglen all the way down to Bankhead, and some of them for like literally £7.50. I would have walked probably two hours to come in.
What age are you here?
They're probably about kind of 14, 15. Yeah, starting high school, because that's where, and I realised, but then I was like, I need to make more. And I realised that at that point there, the household that I was in, I realised that I couldn't be in this house forever. In the sense of that with my mum was absolute chaos, and it was actually going to break me to live with her, and with the drink and or not being there. And going back to what he says is you have to love your mum. At that time, I was like, I can't be here. You know, this is chaos living here. So I had to try and leverage it quicker.
Yeah.
I then end up going on to working for Jimmy the tree surgeon.
Yep.
Just by chance, guy left the military, kind of like your Keith Chaplin kind of guy. Left, he'd done 22 years or 320 years in the army, and I was the first civvy, isn't it we're called?
Yeah, civvies. Yeah.
Civvies, and
Civilians.
still to this day, he's a prick, but I love him. Best thing ever happened.
Just proper old school.
Old school, just get shit done,
Yeah.
you know. And I also remember him saying to me, he's like, you're saying you want to do well and you want to have a better life, but you're not showing me it. Right. I was like, right, what do you mean? He's like, well, if you're going out at the weekends or you're not working Saturday, Sundays, if you want to change your life, you have to walk the walk and do everything. You can't skip a beat, you know. And I was like, right, okay, I really need to be on it if I wanted to change my trajectory.
Done, man. That was one of my questions I had. So you're about 21 at this point.
Yeah, kind of 21.
Is that what separated you? Because obviously you were one of the youngest, most experienced tree surgeons. Do you think it's having that healthy male accountability that's loving you at a higher level and just going, hey, you want that, but you're playing here. To bridge the gap, you need to do this, this and this, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that here for you.
Absolutely. And I think because he was very honest and straight, but he also he was very conscious of everything about him. You know, and he was straight. And again, some people now wouldn't like it, and I get some people wouldn't like that kind of conversation.
Yeah, especially in the modern world, yeah.
That's it. Everybody stays away. We also now have a saying in the business, the kindest thing we can be to each other is honest.
Yeah.
You know, and at that time there, then I was like, you're so right. I'm going to just have, and not even an okay life. I'm not going to change the life that I've already had unless I really get on it.
Sorry, mate. We'll edit all these out. Something that's just came to me there as well. Again, mate, it's just humility, because you could quite easily just let the wound perpetuate all facets of life. Fuck it, nobody loves me, this is too hard. Do you think your nanny's no nonsense part of her was one of the reasons why you could accept quote unquote tough love for Jimmy?
I think absolutely. I think from there having that, I mean, she lost her, I think 2 of her daughters. She brought in countless of my cousins at the time, whose mum and dad's kind of split up, drinking, drugs problems, the usual. You could imagine we were literally all staying in one house at one point. And my nanny used to always just be like, Jordan, there's worse people than us. And I'd be like, well, I've not seen my mum in a year.
Yeah.
God knows who my dad is, and there's about 17 people living in that house because of partners or whatever having drink problems, drug abuse problems. And I'm thinking, God help whoever it is worse than us.
Yeah.
But I think that attitude was, let's plod on, you know.
Let's make it, before I go into like the building the teams and stuff like that, it's actually a good segue into it. One of the beautiful things about you is that you give people less fortunate opportunities to come into the business. You ever connected where that's came from?
Well, I think what the biggest thing is for me, I was the 1 in a million, that the odds are stacked against me. Again, they're being around my mum not being here for the first when I was literally born. The odds were stacked against me. No father, and everything that everything was pushed. You would think at one point I'd throw the towel in.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I never. And anyone going through tough times, regardless if they've had a normal upbringing or a bad or they're just down times, my core belief is you can change your life, and I have belief in you to try and change your own life. You know, and I suppose that does I think that's where it all came from.
Yeah, the belief, because your nanny believed in you.
That's it.
But her saying there's always somebody worse off, can you see how unconsciously,
I know.
Well, where are these worse off people now that I'm in a position that I can help?
I know, that's true, actually. I know. That's it.
She's a greatest ever mentor, mate.
That's it, honestly. That is it. And, you know, and she would always go back to help everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just me.
No money, but a full smile.
That was it.
And a big heart.
That's it. Love that. It's so true.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So, when we first started working together, right, the systems, the lack of,
All over the place.
you were job to job, week
Yep.
to week, right?
Yep.
There was a lot of pressure, and just like your nanny, God bless her, there was always still a smile on your face as well,
Yeah.
right? And I went, cool, mate, but we're not going to bypass that. We're going to deal with this. How was that mentally and emotionally living hand to hand?
It's crazy, but I think as well that the problem was that you started to come up to have money,
Yeah.
but you never had money, so you seen it come and go.
Yeah.
Like you said, you never had systems. You know, you would do job to job, you're paying wages. I had no business in my family, and at no point did I start to configure. Right, I better start learning about business. I was only in fight or flight. You know, so it was very hard for me at that time to try and work out, right, how are we going to get this under control? It was just emotions were everywhere. It was a very, very weird time when you still seen the money come in, no systems.
Yeah.
You didn't know if tomorrow was going to be there.
And like the success was compounding, right? We're putting these things in, we're starting to work on it. Then in what space of a week almost?
That's it. Yep.
You almost lost everything. Like, when was that? February, March?
So I think February
2020?
Yeah, it's literally the week before COVID.
Yeah.
That's it. Then we had a business partner, and I was fighting in at Crown Plaza, decides to glass my cousin. And he then leaves the Crown Plaza, and still to this day, no one has ever seen him. He's been gone, but again, it was my best pal.
Yeah.
That was it, best pal. But we were building, like you said, we were building there, and when you start to make money for the first time, everybody goes, "My life's changing." Still don't have it's still chaos,
Yep.
but you see that trajectory changing. You're building up your best mate. It's very movie-like, scenic, and all of a sudden, then it just literally the buck drops, the curtain drops. Sorry, and you lose a best pal, you lose a business partner, and in between that, when you build with anyone, they do 50% 9 times out of 10, and I was then left with 100% of the problems. You know,
and on top of that, another male
that's it.
I can't trust.
That's it.
I let my guard
trust.
down.
That's what
I'll
happened.
show you my world, and then you leave.
And that I think was as well one of the pioneering moments when we then started, because I think one of the biggest thing was the trust.
Yeah.
Wow, because and I've still never seen this guy. Spoke to him and gone, and we were building everything. It was very movie like, posh and bloody everything else. And I was like, how could this happen? How could this have been going on before my back? You know, money missing, jobs away, everything that you could put, even from a loving sense, a financial sense, everything was totally blown out the window. And I could not trust another person that even came into my life. And I even started doubting anybody who was in my life, and very solid friends as well.
So you're navigating all that. And then another man we don't trust,
Yes.
Big Boris, shuts down the world.
Yes.
So you've got $7,500 weekly wage bill, next to nothing in your account. You borrow £20 to make the payroll. Most people would probably declare bankruptcy here. What was going on in your head though?
God, this was chaos. And again, when Annie kind of slipped in at the right moment there. But the weeks obviously this happened, I've lost my business partner. We've got jobs ongoing. So clients are paying money, or they're already paid money for jobs to be completed, and they're not. So you still need to look after them. And I had wages. We had no money. I couldn't even get in the banks, because you have to, like you says, most people went bankrupt. I never had any business people in my family. I didn't know what a commercial lawyer was. I didn't know any advice that I should be asking around there. And then I says to my nanny, I was like, I owe thousands. I think it was roughly about kind of £60,000, give or take. And when you don't have that, then you owe it. And then you've also got a team of guys to then depending on, and you had the clients who spent money. Now, if my nanny found out that they were owed half the job and however that, away from being bankrupt, the thought that she would have is that these people want to spend money and they're not getting a job done there. But I thought that was hard. And then obviously Boris Johnson shut the world down. So if it was like hard was here, again, Tony Robbins says, you people think this problem's a problem until another problem comes along. And she says to me, she's like, but I thought you were going to build Scotland's biggest landscaping company. And I was like, I'm struggling. I think we're not going to make it. She's like, it's just, and what? Can I move on? It's like, here we go. That's just a hiccup in the road, you know? And I remember going like that. And see, it's the first time she's ever said to me, from me being at school, trying to say that I'm going to go and get a real trade. It's the first time she gave me acknowledgement of it even was a real trade. And I was like that. Looking at her, I thought, I'm in debts of despair. We've lost everything. I've lost my best pal. And everything that was my life is fell apart. And now you turn around and you acknowledge it's a real trade.
Well, let's just go into that, right? When people betray you, what is there a lack of?
Trust.
Right. What was your nanny giving you?
Oh, she was trust.
Believe in yourself.
Aye.
Like, I believe in you. I thought you were building this.
And that was it, literally.
And then only a couple of months later, the wee soul passes away.
That's it.
So is this one of the last gifts that she's gave you?
I know. But that's it. Honestly, getting the goosebumps in there.
Right.
And everything pulled in there from that. You're right.
Because when we first started working together around about that time, you were somebody just raw work, force, pig-headedness, I think, but we need in business. Like, never say die. I'm going to keep going no matter what. Sheer will got you through. But when your nanny passed away, like, something internally cracked you open. Like, what was going on at that time for you?
But I think we embarked on our journey probably just after like the fight. The business partners left, and then obviously Boris Johnson. So I was like, shit, right, here we go. Business problems. And I thought, again, I thought I had problems. But at that point, I then leveled up the bit, leverage, because everybody was at home, so started needing their garden done. So again, the problem I had a month ago wasn't a problem, because we went from being the bin men to being in demand. You know, everybody wanted us. So I thought I started chicaning myself out at not dealing with my actual problems, I suppose, which was that problem which where you says, this is an issue we maybe need to work around.
Yep.
Little did I realise that the biggest problem and the biggest bomb that was going to go off in my life was happening 2 or 3 months later. And that was just, oh my God, game was a bogey. That was it.
It was only constant.
Both. Because the reason why was her. The reason, and we just lost it all by definition, but slowly build it back up. And it was like, right, keep going. And then she's not here. And not only was it that she wasn't here, that I was left to look after my mum, but I still didn't want to. I had the business. It was a horrible place to be. Yeah. But you know, and
it's every which direction, wasn't it?
And even with the COVID, like you says, it was COVID for a funeral as well.
That's right.
So even to process it, and I still don't think to this day I've totally, because I've been so busy with business. Yeah. But everything's just been, it's like the whole world fell apart. You know. And that was a horrible moment.
But with every pile of shit comes gold. Rose gold in this instance. Guy Ellis.
That's that.
Comes in the scene at that point. I remember you telling me. She worked in a sunbed shop, is that right?
Yeah.
And he went, oh, there's this wee chick, mate. Wee redhead.
That's it.
I was like, you like your gingers? And I was like, and he said, oh, but she's no like ginger. She's just, oh, she's stunning. Beautiful wee face. I remember like that. We've got smiles, right? And then you get the eye smiles, like you were gleaming.
Yeah.
Right? And this is all like divine timing.
Oh, crazy. Like unbelievable timing.
I've never had the chance to say this to you because it was too much going on, right? Like everything in life, mate, it's the law of reciprocity, and there's a cause, the effect, there's the duality. one in, one out.
Crazy.
And I could see at the time, it wasn't appropriate to speak to you about it, that she's telling you that.
Yeah.
Because she's like, thank you for loving me, son.
Yep.
Thank you for making me the why.
Yep.
You're not an age and stage to realise you're the why.
That's it.
So she loves you that much that my work here is done. I'm going to go and get a promotion at the pearly gates.
Yeah.
But obviously in her humanness, the grief and everything, and it's not as if we're just processing that.
No.
It's a thing that we've never had in our lifetime before with the COVID stuff, plus all the other stuff we've been speaking about. It's a lot to take in. So me giving you catchphrases or divine order like that, mate, you would have just wanted to punch my face in. So I had to just go, I just need to turn up. I just need to be here for him, whatever he needs, because there's 7, I don't know if you remember, there's 7 stages of grief, but they're not like sequential.
Yeah.
They can just come
I
up
remember you showed me
the different parts.
Yeah.
And grief is no timeline, mate.
No.
So I remember going through that, and then, but seeing you smile again.
That's it.
With wee Ellis.
Yeah.
I was like, there's something in this. There's a kind of magic to be had in here. So what did you know that was different about wee Ellis even back then?
Crazy. And you know, even talking about like my nanny used to say that she, well, supposedly the story was, because everything my mum wasn't there, my nanny says, I'm just going to have to hang about and to see him old enough to look after him. God, I'll end up greeting myself now. But there was a purpose in her. And I think 5 days before my nanny passed away, Ellis rocked up to my life.
Yeah.
You know, and he would have been a conversation to my nanny, you know, and that ship passing the night is unbelievable because the two of them were still on this earth at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was, but I remember obviously meeting Ellis, and it was very powerful. Actually, my mate, like you says, I'm like, oh, that wee bird thing there for the sunbeds, and he's like, I wind him up about it now because he's like, get a number, and I'm like, oh, you told me to go and get her number. Now I've got a win with her. You know, that's one of the pioneering moments where he's like, Jordan, don't be shy here, get in there. And we ended up when Ellis, when we first walked in there, she straight away, she kind of knew of me, but the overwhelming feeling of she's an absolute diamond.
Aye, real one.
That's it. An absolute real one was just unbelievable.
Somewhat your nanny.
Absolutely.
Like she'll not suffer your bullshit.
No, that's it. I know, that's it.
Seeing you in Bali last year, mate, it was amazing. Like she's going like, that's my best pal.
Aye. Do you know what's interesting as well? I actually never clogged. I've not done the actual timings to this. Talk about even more full circle. Ellis fell pregnant. We must have just left when we just left you. Mm-hmm. And when obviously, welcome. But I know exactly. I know that's it. Because for the timing wise, by the time we've left, and the more we thought about it, it was literally like Bali / Dubai time when I've done there, and talking about obviously being healed, but that's real full circle there, you know. But that has been, the timing been impeccable.
Right. What another wee thing about you and Ellis, like you were together,
yep,
but split.
That's right.
And then kind of reconnected again. So what happened? What happened in the separation, and what needed to heal before you could do it consciously?
So I think at the time of the separation, I think that a lot of the stuff that I had going on in my head with the business, and it's a shame as well because Ellis helped so much with our business development, you know, and where we are in business. But I think it got to a point almost like a bottleneck where I never dealt with all my stuff.
Yep.
With my nanny, with losing the business, losing everything. It became a massive bottleneck where I couldn't turn up to be a partner, you know, to be a conscious partner, and also drive the business and be there for myself. Yeah. And at the point I was like, this is too much. Like there has to be a break here, you know. I was like, not that I never loved her at all, but I was like, I just had to just stop the bus to try and pull my head together here, and try and work in the right direction to get me sorted first. Yeah. You know?
How did it go about, you guys like reconnecting?
I think that a lot of Ellis, she's very persevering. She's resilient. She'll be like, away you go. But I think we never really lost. We never lost touch here with it, because again we were connected at a deeper level. To be honest with you, and I think it was just a time we had to just press the pause button. You know,
What's the gap between you both?
I think it's 5 years. I think probably 5 years.
So what age is she now?
She is 24.
24, that's 24. Right. So you met she was 19,
that's
20.
it. Yeah, so that's it.
She was away.
That's it.
Wee baby.
But that's it. And a lot of the
but
stuff. She was in it. And again, she had her own stuff, like I'm talking about from me, but I think now definitely when we have conversation, she had her own stuff to deal with.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't just me on there. And stuff that she had to kind of, her stuff, issues that she had, kind of with her upbringing there that kind of showed up in her relationship, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And I think it's a great point you bring up. And I know you've heard me say it 100 times, but for the listeners, like, excuse me, and the greatest freedom in any man's life is the day he breaks up with his own mum.
That's it.
Like, in terms of like the archetype of what the mum represents. Converse is also true, where a daughter breaks up with her dad.
That's it.
Now, for a lot of people, they don't have the 2.4 kind of family upbringing, so we need to break up the fantasy of what we wanted but never received for a lot of people, because if you don't, you're going to project that onto your partner
100%.
Unconsciously. So I think the fact that you can own here was my stuff, but also I'm not going to take the blame or shame or do that to you either.
Yeah.
Let's just go and deal with stuff. So my 2 cents worth is that a lot of people don't reconnect, not because going back is the wrong thing to do or not. It's just you never went back, you went forward, because when you reconnected again, you had done your inner work. So that original version of you that met for both of you was dead, it was gone.
That's it.
So would you agree with me there that splitting up doesn't need to be the end?
No.
But you need to be honest with yourself and go and do that inner work. And sometimes that's not to say, well, let me ask you this. Do you believe that has to be done alone, or can your inner work be done whilst in a relationship?
Oh, it is a good question. But I think a lot of the things is as well, see when we first broke up, and you've used an analogy before, it's like every woman's a headache or every guy's a prick when they break up from a relationship. But it's not actually, when you actually look at the crux of it, it's because they never took themselves out of the situation and chose to level up from it, whatever way they deem that leveling up, but being conscious enough. So I think if you can't work through it when together, which but I was a pressure cooker. Yeah. Like, and I always have been. I was like, I couldn't deal with me to become better and the business and the others. But the problem was that when I was trying to process it, like, me and Ellis were just butting heads in there. Yeah. So it had to be that total. But then there's a lot of stuff that is also, which was trauma, which is easier just to cut off just to deal with my stuff, you know. And I think one of the things is as well, it's being able to openly have a conversation. Yeah. It's, I'm not right, nor are you, but that's just is. Yeah. You know, and it is, and it's kind of, I love the thing. It's like, this is just my perception of how I'm feeling. Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean it's right.
It's certainly not wrong either.
That's it, exactly. Yeah. And I think as well that once you're in a relationship, you can butt heads, like you says, you should be this way because that's their perception. Yeah,
it's unlimited. You're trying to make them take on your values rather than see the thing that was most valuable about them when you first met was them being themselves.
That's it, honestly. And and I think, but you know, I think as well, the people don't have really good goalposts to look at now. I know, especially for me, I never seen what a perfect relationship was. Yeah. You know, and so we were constructing something that you don't really know what aiming at. Yeah, that's it. You know, and even kind of for past stuff with even with Ellis as well, like, it wasn't the perfect situation. You know what I mean? So the two of us were aiming for something that we didn't know where the goalposts were.
Yeah, it collapsed the fantasy very quick. Yeah. Which I think everyone needs to go through. So she is very grounded though. Yep. Very supporting. How is having that obviously coming back together, you doing your work. And I think it's very attractive for women, for a guy that's got a clear vision
Yep.
and is got a big heart, wears it and he's open, it stands for something that's bigger than himself. Cheeky chap, but about him as well. He's no altar boy, but actually
She doesn't like that all the time.
yeah, but I think we need both, the same way that we need the nurture.
That's it.
We need the softness, we need the tenderness, but if we're just getting everything our own way, we get bored very quickly. We need somebody that's actually knows who the hell they are, that's going to hold that, and she's got that in spades.
Absolutely.
How has that healthily embodied feminine, masculine and feminine within Ellis as a female, how is having that propelled the business?
Oh, massively. And I think having that kind of yin-yang approach has been fundamental to the business.
Yeah.
And having that to navigate through there, not only having somebody that's more kind of intellectually kind of a part of the business, but someone that brings that whole different like kind of feminine energy of here's what we need to go for, because ultimately it's a family business we've got.
Yep.
And every good family, because most good families start with a good father and a mother, you know. And me and Ellis kind of worked off that driving force. It wasn't that I would do her stuff, she was good at what she did.
Stay in your lanes.
Stay in her lanes, you know, and push forward. By the way, that also brings its own dilemmas as well, you know, and its own as well. But it's been, if anything, it's one of the massive core drivers for our business.
How do you navigate when you're business partners and when you're life partners?
That is really hard.
That's the biggest test, huh?
That is a thing, and I think that is, but I think where I've been blessed is with Ellis, because we can blend. We have a good life, and we understand the work, physical work you need to do to then have the better life. So we're quite brutally honest with each other. It's not like we don't fight and then somebody's not working. Yeah, you know, we work like dogs and then we enjoy the life.
Okay.
You know?
So regardless how I'm feeling about you or you're feeling about me in this moment, put a pin in that, we'll come back, we'll fix that later.
Stay with that.
But the business still needs to keep going.
Yep.
So both driven by vision.
Vision, I would say definitely vision is the biggest thing. The best thing as well has happened for us, we started employing people straight from the get-go. Right. So it wasn't about me and Ellis. It was about building the business. We got so out our head of it. It's about us. It's about the business. It was the model, the GGM, the Glasgow Garden Maintenance, and there were 1 million people underneath us. Talk about family. Like,
so you built the family neither of you said?
That's that, you know, that was it. We built everybody underneath us and we had to drive it forward.
In the beginning though, mate, like she's got a law degree. How was it for you, or what did you do to let someone into the thing that you built yourself? I know. So
that was obviously, and I suppose because you're letting down the barriers, because already trust was broken, I had the business partner, that was a scary thing. I think one of the things I remember with Ellis was she was at Edinburgh Uni, and we're sitting at the table and she was doing commercial law. And she's starting to do stuff, and I was reading the papers, I was like, this is actually really this is a lot of synergy with like running a business, apart from the obvious. And I'm like, well, she could probably add a lot more value to what I could add, you know. I just had to drive in the vision, you know, and she was everything I wasn't. That's you know, at that time there.
I'm getting emotional.
That is, honestly. And that perfect blend. I remember going, she helped me a couple of things, and actually she still helps me to this day. Even emails, I mean, just, I don't know what I'm, if it's dyslexic or whatever you want to call it, but just being that professional, coming across in emails was just night and day. And she was just everything there. She would cover it.
Brilliant, mate.
You know?
I think it's the thing that I've said to you from the very beginning for meeting you, mate, is your humility.
Thank you.
Like, even being burnt, you go, you're better at that than me.
That's it. Yeah. And I think, honestly, if anybody watches this in business, I think the biggest thing is with us, like, I'm terrible at doing the physical work. Like, I don't say that I'm good.
You're a visionary, man.
I literally bring on people that are so much better than me at majority of the things, you know. So
good leadership, man.
Well, you know, I think hopefully that's where that's all just tied in from there.
I personally just think the work that we had done at healing the deepest dominant thought that love isn't safe and you're not worthy of love.
Yeah.
Shifting that with the breath and the solidify that we did, and the conscious collapse big time. Your inner work, mate, is
massively.
That's what you could trust yourself.
That's it.
So from there, the betrayal wound, you were no longer betraying yourself, you were letting people in. Now obviously still the brain's still going to go to reference points to go, oh, this might be just let in before. In for a penny, in for a pound, we'll try it anyway. And I think just opening your heart was everything. I want to ask a flipped question. If you were still operating for that wound, likewise, if Ellis was still operating for that wound, and you were in like a trauma bond or an unconscious relationship, how would that look for your business and your life?
If we never split up and took that kind of
time apart, and not only the time apart, but how you chose to fill it.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's I think we definitely wouldn't have developed. We wouldn't. The business wouldn't be where it is. I wouldn't be anywhere where I want to be in my own personal development, my own professional career as well. You know, and you know, in an all round sense, life wouldn't be as good as what it is now if we never took that time to pause and reset everything there and be really conscious. I suppose conscious collapse in that moment. Crazy.
Excuse me. I think that's the biggest shift I've saw for you, mate, is the guy that had to do it all to prove himself to others.
So,
to not only like prove it to your partner, but just prove it to yourself, and by that Ellis gets to watch. Amelia gets to watch.
That's it.
Like Daddy's like, he knows his limitations, humbly surrounds himself with like-minded people, but there'll never be a day goes by where you're not working on the vision at some point. I think just the shift for you having to wear all the hats was the thing that made me go,
that's and you know, we talk about for like last month was one of our biggest sales, but I was literally had the baby. Yeah, I was not in the business as much as possible, and we've done more revenue and more sales than we've ever done. Doesn't mean there were not problems.
Yeah.
But I was totally out it, and again, I've just got this beautiful timeline of everything, you know, of just like it was just meant to be.
What was your biggest voice growing up?
It was, I know if that's it. Money, not having any trust, nobody being there for me.
Right. Who did you want money for?
My nanny.
Right.
That's it.
Right. So, the biggest void was an affluent, rich in love.
That's it.
And never needed to want for money, family. What you got?
I know. Everything I never had. I mean, and again, I never looked at it in that frame, but now when you look and go, wow, that was just what we created.
So who did that?
I know. That's it. I know. It's crazy.
For people listening, who did that?
There's me just doing the inner work, honestly. And even that, I still have that kind of, what's it called? When I still say it now, it just all just feels like I've just turned up every day.
Yeah. You did, mate.
You know, turn up every day and just created it. And I think for any business owners having a family, I think that time must be crazy if you don't have things in place.
Yes.
Because that was an absolute chaotic time alone. I couldn't think what it would have been like if I was physically in the business.
And I'm going to say something, mate. Tell me if it's shite or not. It's a bit cheesy. It's a bit hallmarky, right?
Yeah.
But I've said it a few times, and I agree. I believe it.
Yeah.
I think the greatest system that anyone can ever have in their business is their nervous system.
Yeah, that is, honestly.
I know it sounds a bit wanky,
honestly,
but I always say to people, if you really want a test, you want to level up in life, you want to consciously go, right, how can I grow here? Two things. Be in a relationship, start a business.
Exactly.
You find out who you are very quickly, right? So to do that together in synergy, but it's got to come for the solid foundation, which this is where I get croaky throat looking at you. You had every reason not to do that.
Yeah.
you'd every reason to be somebody else in the system. It's just, he had a terrible life and blah, blah, blah. And that's why he is the way he is. Beats people up, sells drugs, X, Y, in and out the jail, whatever it could be. But the void can continue to be a void, or the void can be a value when you don't avoid the pain of doing the inner work, mate.
100%.
And you turned up constantly. And I say to you, I've not got your trust yet.
Yep.
It'll come.
That's it.
I promise you, if you give me 100, I'll give you 200.
That's it.
If you give me 99, I'll give you the extra one.
That's it.
Literally.
Literally.
The work works if you work it.
100 million%.
And you did, mate. And we had our tests as well. You taught me a hell of a lot as well, because I knew this, like Keith, Keith Big Chaplin. The schooling system's set up that if you're a visual learner, you can face the front. If you've got good memory, recall and retention, and you can repeat back what they've said, you're smart. Not everybody learns that way. And even in what I was building at the time, because I was moving, just come back from Australia, and I was moving through the divorce, XYZ. I was moving on to a different platform. It was very evident very quickly, you don't learn for that.
That's it.
So I think that's another thing people need to understand as well, is like, some people are interpersonal, some people are intrapersonal, some people are logical, some people are visual, some people are auditory, some people are kinesthetic, need to get their hands on it. You just need to find what's best for you.
And some of the stuff that you talk about, and sometimes you don't even probably like know how much I'm picking up. I could probably, like, some of the stuff, the conversations we've had, and again that the 5 in the morning video. You know, a very visual freedom film. I was showing somebody the other day in a cafe.
You still get the original?
If I got the original, like when they're talking about like stuff, like it's not cliche and whatever, right? So when we set that up and we're driving, I think I was dropping you at the airport, like, and you're like, mate, what's the? And it was like Tyson Fury song.
That's right.
And so like you end up, so we're driving to for everybody on this, we're driving to the airport, and you're like, a freedom film, what song does empower you, or does it get you up? And that Tyson Fury song, because when he gets knocked back down in it, he gets back up again, and he defeats, he was undefeated at that time, but you know, it was an empowering gentleman in my eyes at the time. But on the film, so he says, watch it every morning, where do you want to go with your life? And there's loads of things in it. There's loads of things, but at this time, when everything that we have spoken about, and I didn't have any money whatsoever, I lost it. I put mortgage free.
That's right.
And then he says, like, just stay with it. Like you said, do the work, you know, and do it. And I would sit and, because it's got a breath work on it, your breath work, you do it, and it's sitting there. And it's always funny, obviously, being from Glasgow at that time. And to be fair, a lot of people are more conscious about breath work now.
Yeah.
But 5 years ago, when I'm sitting at 5 in the morning, meanwhile my whole life's in chaos, even Ellis was going, I think he's lost the bloody plot. And then it's got this video that for everybody this I had nothing like up against it, and everything was falling apart. I had mortgage free,
60 grand in debt.
60 grand in debt, no house there to get sorted, and ended up that one of the property that I was staying in, I ended up, so if obviously fast forward whatever it was, a year or whatever, and I still watch the video, and I wasn't really paying attention. Bought a house, then I bought another house because of the way that we're going into a recession, and give it 2 years maybe. Bear in mind that I went from having nothing, not wanting to be here at all, and everything around that, because of the whole story, to being mortgage free, like complete mortgage free. I bought a house mortgage free, and I'm like, holy shit. Talk about like doing the work and turning up every day. Like I genuinely done the work, turned up every day, and then 2 years, or I don't know exact timings with it, I was then sitting still in my early 20s going, I don't have a mortgage, and my mum doesn't have a house. My nanny was an ex-council house, I believe, and so I was like, that still to this day is one of the scariest. And there's still things like red Ducati. That's one of the things there. But I think one of the things is doing that breath work every morning, resetting my nervous system, but having my goals and my principles and what I'm aligned to. I think that is one of the craziest moments. I show everybody with it, honestly.
Because the biggest thing's the feeling, mate. Right? But you can't feel greater than how you feel just now. And how you feel just now, if there's hundreds of feelings that we've never dealt with in the past,
Yeah.
you can say affirmations to the cows come home. Your brain's going, don't believe you.
Yeah.
So that's when we did that at the same time.
Yep.
It collapsed in the past.
Yep.
And that untangible future gets a wee bit closer to you every time.
Literally.
And if you're feeling it more and more in the moment, what it was like to have that, the same way you would do when you're visualising winning fights
100%.
or getting a big contract.
But that's it. And even I think one of the things is it was like I'm a master delegator. Master delegator. I use money as time freedom, and a lot of the principles inside our business is a lot of this 5 o'clock in the morning video meditation there to pioneer everything there, you know. And I still to this day, it kind of freaks me out in a sense, because it's genuinely is. It's like, and going back to what you said, it wasn't about like kind of working through the modules. It was that visual implementation every day.
Yeah.
And then you embody it. And again, the breath work. It's funny now because there's a lot of people in this space, the breathwork space, and it's fantastic. But I think for me as well, because it kind of started that 5 years ago, and it massively helps me when all the pressure and whatnot, you know, what goes on in everybody, the chaos.
Yeah, you need that wee centre.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful thing the Freedom Film is the homes or the houses.
Yes.
Right. Houses are nice.
Yes.
A home is nicer.
Yes.
Right, so let's make the transition. So business is thriving.
Yep.
You're feeling good about yourself. Business is thriving. Conscious relationship.
Yep.
Then you get the news, Alice is pregnant. You're about
Yes.
to be the dad you wish you had. How did you feel when you got the news?
I did, you know, honestly, see, we found it was a water fast. We decided to do it at the start of the year, and it said on it that do not do it if you're pregnant. I was like, Alice, you better make sure you're not pregnant. Sure enough, she was pregnant. You know, it's still...
It was just after Bali, yeah.
Literally just after Bali. She must have felt pregnant, like in Dubai/Bali.
Yeah.
I think there, and it wasn't until the water fast we thought we better take a pregnancy test, which is unbelievable. I actually think it must have been about a year we were there to the day. Might have been.
November.
Aye.
Wee bit earlier.
Wee bit earlier, aye. So that's
October.
Aye. So I found out it's dad, and it's just the emotions unbelievable. And to have a family.
I remember you telling me before you were scared about passing trauma and the stuff down. What would you say was the specific one? What were you scared of passing down, and what work did we do that ensured that never happened?
So I think a lot of the trauma my mum had, and a lot of the stuff she was breathing down on me on a kind of daily. I didn't want, if any weeing come into this life, I didn't want them to be instantly have emotions and be felt a certain way because of my past, you know, or the way I think, to be honest with you. Like, because I think a spade's a spade, I don't want the Wayne to instantly think a spade's a spade. Don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, you want them to be more
open-minded there. So and again there, I think a lot of our work straight away kind of dealing with my mum's stuff, you know, putting that to bed, obviously with the mental health issues wasn't always an issue as well. Like, but I was scared about everything, and even being present for the baby or a baby coming into life. We done a lot of work that just, again, I just took time off, because the guy that met you was an absolute workaholic. But it was almost like, do you know what? I'm just going to be present and just be here for the weeing. You know, I took that foot off the gas.
Just hit pause. Listen to your words. What was dad?
Not present.
What was mum?
Nah, not present.
And what do you want to be?
No, present.
And what are you being?
Present. Yeah, that is. And all this, honestly, fundamentally, every wee bit that we've done the work together to build up there, honestly, it has massively prepared me little did I know for a baby coming. Because if you probably says to me when I first met you, are you going to have a wee in? I'd have been like, I can see you later.
Not right now.
Exactly. But I think that now that built up, and I'm really so grateful, I think, for the inner child, without being cliche, of me that's healed, to allow me to love, but also be loved as well. And I think, God, I would have still been a good father, but I wouldn't have been half the person who I am now because I'm conscious and I'm present. So I do, honestly, I really appreciate it, bro.
Oh, mate, I've not done anything there.
Oh, honestly,
That's all you, man.
Some man, honestly.
That's all you. What do you want we Amelia to know about her dad?
Oh, God.
And I don't mean things that have happened, like, how do you want her to see you?
Oh, I think that the word, I always love the word being a gentleman, you know, to know what a man is, do you know what I mean? That to turn up, be resilient, you know, laugh in the face of adversity, no matter what happens. What's the point in getting angry or phone out? And again, quoting my nanny, there's more problems in the world. What is the point in arguing? And you think how many relationships you must see in a day to day or whatever, and you go, you must feel going, what the fuck are you arguing for? There's bigger problems out there, and it's like, I suppose for her, I suppose that comes back to her nervous system. Don't get your nervous system all shut up worrying about things that doesn't really matter. Focus.
Give her the best fighting chance, mate, because what kids bond with, right?
Yeah.
And I never knew about the social services to this podcast for you, right?
Brilliant.
What kids born with is the nervous system of our parents, specifically their mothers.
Is it? No way. That's amazing.
Right, when we first come in.
That's crazy.
So if you don't have that,
Yep.
and you've just spent 9 months attached, and the cord's like cut, and then you're here, and you've no way of verbalising that because we're just this wee, like reliant, codependent puddle of perfection. But we're just getting passed around. That energy's got to go somewhere. That imprint's got to go somewhere.
100%.
So for this wee soul to come in with two present parents that can authentically love her, because Ellis loves herself, you love yourself, and you love each other. Piss each other off.
That's it.
But still love, because you're not here to be liked. You're not here to live a one-sidedness.
No.
You're
present.
Right, my G. You still have that playful stuff with each other. And it's beautiful to watch, man. It really is. I love it.
Thank you.
I think being a gentleman in this modern world, mate, with how things are going, I don't want to go off this in a wee tangent. I could talk to you all day, mate, but just to kind of bring it back together. I said this to someone, actually, at the time of filming this. I filmed a podcast last week in Newcastle. I was staying at a friend that I met in Bali and see him, and we needed to go to Newcastle for the podcast. So we're getting the train in, and I was looking at these wee girls, man. I was like, they were talking loud in front of us, and I went, must be 16 if they're lucky. So it was Saturday night, Newcastle, Halloween weekend, right? So there was more flesh than there was clothes. And this wee lassie went like that. See, that's why I fucking stay single, man, because they're just not worth the hassle. She's like, you can be in a relationship and listen to all that shite, or you can just be a slut and get paid fucking thousands.
Mental.
And I'm like that. Wow. And that, mate, this was like not me just being privy to being close. This was like anybody listening. It was the guy with his wife walking hand in hand next to her. They turned like shocked and appalled. The two wee girls that were next to her laughed and just like kind of nervous, like, oh, sorry about her, and all that. She went, I'm not, it's the truth. So I was like that to my mate Jason. I said, they must be 16. I said, on OnlyFans, and he went, you need to be 18 minimum, I think there's that event. So they're maybe 18 or she's 16 and she's talking about what she's seeing. Either way, this is a fucking huge problem. And 100%. I said, I don't want to sound judgy. There's different circumstances for everything, right? But that to me is failed fatherhood.
100%.
I went, and for all my faults, and by God there's many, if I'm blessed with God's grace to have a daughter, she will never go 1 second in this world not knowing that I love her.
That's it.
Unconditionally. And there'll be no conversations off the table. I went, she'll get more for her mother because
That's
they're both women and they know more than I'll ever know. I can
Yeah.
read the books, but I don't know. But I'll never make her feel embarrassed. She can
No.
come to me about anything. We can talk about sex. We can talk whatever the hell she likes.
Aye.
And if we're talking about that, she will know the sanctity of this vessel
Yep.
and not to give it away cheap.
100%.
I said, now, she'll make mistakes and she'll do silly things like the rest of it, but it'll come from a place of learning and getting out there and kids just being kids and teenagers and growing up like we all did.
Aye.
Hopefully not like a old man. But she will never have to guess how much I love her.
Aye.
And when you bring all this down, that's OnlyFans pandemic, and it is a fucking pandemic.
Aye.
It all comes from what I believe is the root cause of all of this, which is I'm not worthy of love.
I'm at 1,000,000%. And they don't realise it, the parents as well, and it kills me, the parents saying, obviously, they're causing all this. You know, and that's all just literally everything that they've brought into the world is getting ruined with the way they are. And I just think it's they're horrible human beings.
And let me be honest as well, where this is more a man problem as well, the fatherless stuff is like an assumption, right? It is and it isn't. 15 years in the game, I would say it's a stick on.
That's it.
Even money. But it's still a male problem.
Massively.
Everybody's got different sexual orientations, right? But the vast majority of this is going for a heterosexual audience. These wee girls don't get paid unless there's guys subscribing.
I know, exactly. That's it.
So men are perpetuating this bullshit.
And I think it'll get worse because men aren't acting like men anymore. That's the worst one. And going into their kind of their masculine energy. They're worried to be men, you know, and obviously to be good parents as well. And I just think, what's the point in having kids if you don't want to be a good parent?
Yeah.
You know, it's such a, going back to mum, it's a kind of waste, you know. And you think some fathers as well, I think of what they've caused for like that wee girl on the train. How long do you think she'll go her whole life without realising where all this has stemmed from?
And
how many guys will she keep on hating?
That's the thing.
And how many people will be to blame rather than her?
As men, we get our value or our perceived value through utility, right? Which is bullshit. We need to realise we're worthy as we are, right?
Yeah.
The big selling point for a lot of women is their vitality, their youth.
Aye.
That holy grail untouchedness.
Yeah.
Now the whole universe, the whole world's watching.
So, and
you no value yourself, and then you hide behind this new movement of empowered women. Like, what? There's nothing empowering about it. I mean, you're literally giving your power away, man.
That's it.
And I don't say that to anybody watching this to sound shitty. I'm saying it because it hurts, man.
100%.
If that was my fiance or my mum or my sister, if they thought that's what they needed to do to feel good about themselves, that'd break my heart, man.
I know. And that's that same, they're a lost cause into themselves rather than wanting to help themselves, especially if they're going out and everything else that come with it. How do you start to solve it?
So you want her to know you're a gentleman. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent there. You want wee Amelia to know Dad's a gentleman and you've got it all. How do you feel? Because I know the accolades and everything you're doing with the business and the podcast that people doing that, to bring it a wee bit closer to home.
Yep.
How do you feel to be the dad you wish you had?
I think I've always had broad shoulders. Kind of excites me. When I say kind of, there's a nervous part of it as well. I had to be a father to my mum. I had to turn up and start a business. And I was choosing to start a family. That's what I say, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
The kind of bit's the unknown. That's why I'm not saying I'm 100% excited. But in the sense of I'm excited to bring a young girl into the world to see how much potential the world has to give when looked at in the right light. I think that's hopefully going to be, I suppose, one of the biggest gifts.
We can cut this bit if you want to, right?
Yeah.
It's just coming to me just now.
Yep.
Your mum
Yep.
never had the best relationships with men in her life.
No.
Right. Sexually abused.
Yep.
Sexually assaulted.
Yep.
absentee father, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Male people in our family that should have been trusted.
Yeah.
Can you see that some of that stuff is landed on you by proxy? One, you're seeing it. Two, some of the traits of showing up in certain people in your life. How does it feel? This is what I mean about being the dad you wish you had. To be a safe man.
That's it. That's and I suppose I'm also so grateful for my nanny, because I was the man of the house, you know. And again, come back to fighting and that kind of masculine energy. I feel like I step into my true energy if that's so I'm to be that safe father figure, partner, everything I need to be in just my masculine energy. That feels probably more secure than anything, and I love that energy stepping into it, you know, because like you says, they've been historically, there've been so many people that let mom down, just absolute vile creatures there is in this world.
Yeah,
you know, and the fact that I can stand up to let women believe in men, and that makes me feel powerful.
Fucking love it, bro.
Thank you.
I love it. Love you, mate. Jordy, I could listen to you all day, bro. I really could.
Thank you, my boy.
Can bring this together, right? From the wee boy cutting grass for a fiver to Scotland's best landscaping company, the fatherless boy to the conscious father. I need to bring this home, man. I need to stay professional here, because again, I knew I said I would get emotional. So Jordan Grant's story isn't just about building £1 million business from nothing. It's about what happens when you let the wound become conscious, when you stop running from the pain and you start running towards the purpose. You could have stayed in the pattern, prove your worth, achieve more, make them proud, don't stop moving or you'll feel it all. That's the trap of the fatherless son. The achievement addiction that never fills the hole. Instead, Jordan did the hard thing. He's let his nanny's death crack him open. He did the trauma work, healed the father wound before becoming a father. He learned to build conscious partnership instead of recreating unconscious patterns. He built business systems that reflected internal order, his healthy nervous system, instead of chaos. And now, he's not just building a business, he's building a legacy. He's breaking generational cycles, showing his daughter what it looks like when a man transforms his wounds into medicine. Trips, this is what integration over sacrifice looks like. This is what happens when you heal the wound and you build the empire for the inside out. For everyone listening, Jordan's work with us at Trysted Soul helped him process the trauma, prepare for conscious fatherhood, build internal systems, as I said, that allowed his business to scale. But if you're an ambitious soul who refuses to choose between love and success, because you don't need to choose, by the way, and you know that your wounds, they're driving you, but there's wisdom in that. The pain, your deepest pain, can be your biggest purpose. That's exactly what we do here. So you can send us a message to this, follow us on Instagram, send me a DM. We can talk about the Soulify journey, conscious collapse process, anything at all. So much more I could say. I dare say there will be a part 2, because this boy will never stop growing. You've given me more than I think you'll ever know, mate. And I don't just mean these last 2 hours.
No, honestly, mate, and I honestly think likewise, and you know, on doing anything like this, I think that again, that 1 in a million. If I hope somebody watches this, if they're kind of on the fence or whatever, and they want to change their life, I genuinely am 1 in a million.
Yeah.
But my trajectory changes when you have the right people around you, and it starts to compound in the right direction, and you are one of them, mate, honestly.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate
and a big thank you to Fergie, because that's the thing, folks, as well. Sometimes being the middleman, that's the bridge that people don't even know they need to get from A to B.
Absolutely.
So you don't always need to be the postman as long as the message gets delivered. Okay, so if you know there's someone else that we can help, send them this, share the podcast, share Jordan's socials, Jordan's links, or have a chat with us, even if it's back and forward in DMs. I'm very good at getting that going. If I'm not the right fit, I won't pretend that I am. I'll connect you with someone that's going to look after you. Brother, thank you for your vulnerability today. Thank you for showing what's possible to myself, because I'd love to be a dad. But anyone, men and women, what's possible when you choose healing and success. God bless everyone. Jordy boy,
Brilliant.
Love you a bit, brother.
Love you, my boy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate. Wow, thank you to another amazing guest. I hope you got as much from that as I did. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps. And if someone popped into your head while you were watching, please send it to them. Sometimes healing starts with a link from someone who loves us. And if you want to go deeper into healing your own root cause trauma that's blocking you from the love you deserve, please book a call with me at the link below. Beautiful souls like yours are worthy of that love. See you on the next pod.